Hey everyone, good evening again to you all. It is another Wednesday, June 23. And as a matter of fact, today is a very special day for me because actually today, 32 years ago, I became a mom for the first time. So I have a 32-year-old daughter. Happy birthday, honey. And so this evening, I have to be extra chirpy and happy because it takes a man that allowed me to have become a mom. And so tonight's program, we just want to look at the topic of the man, the man's responsibility to the marriage, to the household, to the family. Are our men still men? Are they living up to that responsibility? And so joining me this evening, I have three men of esteem who will be sharing this topic with us. And so we have Mr. Barnett, and he is an entrepreneur. He is a investor in terms of real estate and property management, and he is in Canada. And we also have joining us Pastor Andrew MacPhail, husband, father, and he heads a ministry. And I'm hoping that we will also have joining us Councilman Mustafa Brent. I know he told me he is a fire chief and he has to be in the firehouse this evening. So he might be joining us a bit late, but we welcome him at whatever stage he can join this broadcast. And so I'm going to be introducing to us, firstly, Mr. Rowan Barnett. Hi, Rowan. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm great.
Thank you so much for joining me. And you have two other mighty men of valor who will be, on this program with you this evening to share in this discussion. Because we are trying to find out if true men really exist and if men still know, their roles and their responsibilities this evening. And so I will introduce you to Pastor Andrew MacPhail. Hi, Pastor Andrew. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. Good evening,
Good.
everyone.
My favorite thing to say, I learned something for the kid from the children of Kids Palace in the past. They would hear me come in and we would, praise the Lord and hallelujah, and we would shout and, do all the nice things at the daycare. And so,
Yes,
we had this very common, greeting that we'd say, how are you? And, you would say, I'm blessed and highly favored. But the kids could not say the word
yes.
favor because they were not familiar with it. So pretty soon they started saying that they were blessed and highly flavored. And so I liked that
Amen.
concept. And so I have pretty much adopted that concept. So
Okay.
thank you so much for joining us out there, wherever you're tuning in from, whether it be by Facebook or you are on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining Sears Bite and a Mouthful this evening. As usual, we try to inform, we try to educate, but at the end of every program, our aim is that we will leave somebody inspired and they will leave better than they came, having more knowledge and more information imparted to them, and so that they in turn can, impart this to others. And so this evening, again, as I say to you, I ask you that you up on over to our YouTube, give us some likes, give us some share your comments, and of course subscribe. We want to know how we're doing, how you rate us, because that kind of tell us, what you think of us really. To our men who are tuning in, we still celebrating Father's Day because, we just had Father's Day celebration on Sunday. And so to you men on the platform here, Andrew and Pastor MacPhail, I say, happy Father's Day. I know Father's Day was Sunday, was dedicated to the fathers, but we want to honor and
Thank you.
just keep our men going all year round. So once again, happy
Yes.
Father's Day.
Thank you
Um,
very much.
so can I ask you? I'm going to start with Pastor Andrew. Just tell the viewers just a little bit of who you are, and just tell us who you are first, and then we will take it from there. After you're done, I'm going to ask Ron just to tell us a little bit of who Mr. Barnett really is.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Again, I'm Pastor Andrew McPhail. I've been ordained pastor now, going 2 years, and um, I've been in ministry long time. I mean, for more than 10 years, I've been doing ministry. I've been a Christian for over 26 years, and I, love to evangelize. We started out in the inner city of Kingston, and we used to go into the communities and we used to share Christ with the children, adults, every person we meet. And my wife was and I, we were both in marriage ministry. We used to minister to couples, and we would go on also retreat and stuff like that. And we got married. We are we are married for 21 years now, and we have two boys. Yes, we have two boys, and they're 14. And I'm in full-time ministry now. We are. I gave up my job. I used to do work with. I was a contractor with Unicoma Limited, and I gave up that now for the full-time ministry now. So I am not really getting a salary as a minister, but I am serving the Lord as the Lord leads. I am devoted to the work of God by doing hospital ministry. We have outreach ministry going to the communities, and we will preach the gospel to people, you know, and we will, encourage them to really trust in God at times like these. I mean, we could not be called to such a task as a at a time like this. This is a very important time, when people really need God more now than ever, and we are dedicated in spreading the good news, to every soul out there, who are in need of a breakthrough, in need, of God help, because we need God even more than how we imagine,
Mhm.
and to truly have His help, He
All,
be our help, our strength,
all right. So we'll
So
come back to a little bit of your ministry and what you do, and just to see, how that really is going to tie in to the role of the man, because that's really important, that you're depicting that kind of a thing. So, Rowan, can I hear from you just a little bit of who you are and all of that?
To be brief, okay, so as you know, my name is Rowan. I'm an investor. We invest in real estate here in Canada, in the GTA, in Ontario, Canada. Um, we do pre-construction condos. Now we're in the development of Niagara. I own a farm. I have a business that we run here that with natural herbs that we help people with all different kind of ailments. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about business. I'm all about doing stuff that can uplift our people and moving forward with what we do as Black people. So
You know, and it's very funny, because both of you have something unique, to share with our young men. And it is one, you can show our young men that religion, Christianity plays an important part, in keeping you, in preserving you, in making you into a man and eventually a good husband. And also, I mean, the role of a man is to take care of a family. How do you take care of a family? It means that both of you have been entrepreneurs, and as such, you have the right skills and tools that it takes to encourage young men to know that yes, there are options other than a steady 9 to 5. But I have prepared a few kind of a preempted kind of a thing that I want to go into. As you know, the topic this evening is really man. You know, the value, the value, the role that a man plays in family life, in the life of the home, in the life of the children and the wife. So I want to ask, um, we all step into relationships with a host of needs and wants. Strong relationships thrive on good communication, honesty, generosity, trust, and my personal biggest, which is respect. Further, men and women, they say men are from Mars and women are from Venus. So men and women bring different needs and wants into a relationship. I'll ask you first, Pastor Andrew, what was foremost in your mind when you thought about marriage?
Okay. Well, I was a Christian at the time when I was thinking about marriage. I was working and in the field, and I would see my friends getting married. I didn't even have marriage on my mind, you know, but it comes to me when I see my friends out there getting married, and they would invite me to their wedding and so forth. And I say, you know, I think it's time for me to give up the single life, because I was living a single life for 4 years, you know,
Mhm,
and it was all about dedication, you know, to the church, to serving, and all of that was service. So it didn't really, it wasn't really on my mind at those in those time, but I um I decided to give up my single life and seek a wife, you know,
mhm,
and you know, even when we seek, sometimes God will say, you know, that's not the one, and you know, you have to wait on the Lord.
mhm,
So one of the thing was, I know my wife long time, long we were friends, and
mhm,
we were also going Bible school together. And I would even talk to her and say, you know, do you have any friends that would like to get married, you know, female
mhm,
friends. So it wasn't even that I was looking at her to marry to. I
mhm,
was looking all over. I was looking in other direction because I know she was my friend, and
mhm.
you know, it was just natural for us to share anything, you know, pray
Right.
together and stuff like that. But
Mhm,
you know, God will have it that the relationship really turn into a more closer relationship, that we actually get interested in each other, you
mhm.
know. And when I felt that way, we started to court, and we started to, you know, go out and stuff like that. And then I make the put the question to her, you know, and she did answer, and it was from there on we got married. And you know, it wasn't long after we got married because we already know each other. So
Mhm,
it was typical, straightforward for me, you know. So I was ready. I was really prepared in myself to say yes. You know,
mhm,
because I was taught in church, you know, in those days, that you're never a full man until you have your other half. You know, I always say,
right, right,
woman is the other half. You know, so for you to be a complete man, you have to have the other half.
right,
So
right, right,
man will be always searching for his other half. So that is how
right.
come that I
He's
was
searching
so
for his
happy.
other rib.
Yes, it's not a rib, right? So it was such a joyful thing, finding, you know, your partner, you know,
Mhm.
your lifetime partner.
Okay. All right. So for you, Mr. Barnett, are
Yes.
you currently married, sir?
No.
Are there plans to be married soon?
I don't oppose to be married and married soon. It's just you. Okay, you want okay, especially female around you that gonna give it the lead as a topic. Gonna go down to that. As I heard Pastor was talking about, they were growing up together and they have one goal in serving the church and moving forward and I mean Jamaica to America. And sometimes that's where I don't think that we either man or woman sometimes don't want to make the sacrifice or the commitment to each other and move forward with each other. So I don't have a problem uh, going forward and getting married, but we there's a lot of stuff that we have to look for that we want to get solved in
Mm-hmm.
in both man and female. I'm not blaming anyone particularly, but you want to you want to kind of see that you're moving in the right direction. Both of you guys are going in the right
Question to you. What would be some of the things that would want to make you get married, settle down, get married? What are you? Let me ask the question more specifically. What are the qualities that you're looking for in that wife?
the quality that I'm looking for is someone is submissive. Is someone that understand that there is this is a team, not individual work. So, for
Mm,
instance, if I'm doing a particular business, I would want that person to encourage and to motivate and to help in that particular business because you want that soulmate, as Pastor was saying. You want that person to help you along the way. Not you doing it alone. You cannot feel like, okay, I'm just doing this alone. But you want that support team from the person that you're talking to. You want
uh,
that to understand and to understand their role and their duty. So like I know I understand my role and duty as a father and as a boyfriend
as a
or
spouse.
a spouse to
Mm,
I know my duty. My duty is to provide and to protect. I mean, make sure the kids are okay. Food is on the table, house, a roof over our head, and other stuff. But so, I don't think most people now understand the duty and the responsibility as, of course, someone in the relationship. I think we're missing that because we wasn't being taught correctly that okay,
mhm.
this is a responsibility, and sometimes I think that's the issue that
I'm going to add something to what you say there, Mr. Barnett. And I will simply say that there is no I in the word we. That's one.
yeah.
And number two, the Bible said when God created Adam and he said Adam was lonely, he said he made Adam a helpmate. So, am I right, Pastor Macphail?
Yes, you're right.
Right.
Yes.
So, is there anything you can elaborate based on what Mr. Barnett just said? I mean, you have been in this thing 21 years. Is there
Hmm.
anything briefly? Because you're not on the pulpit now, so
Okay.
I have to tune you down. Is there anything
Right.
briefly, one or two short sentences that you can say to him based on what he just said?
Okay. Well, it's just a matter of time, you know. There's no rush, you know. There's really no rush or no pressure, really. You know, it's good that he's thinking very serious about it, you know,
Mhm.
because this marriage is really for life, you know. Marriage is really a lifetime thing. It's not, oh, the world is treating it right now, you know, because people. I understand my brother what why he has to be very, very, very cautious in really approaching marriage because people take marriage too simple nowadays. They just run in and run out, you know.
Until I
So you
find
want
fault.
it special. You want to make it real special. So you want to know you're choosing the right person, and that person is really the person who God send in your life, because that has to be God has to be a part of it, and that person will, he won't be the perfect person. I don't think it's really perfection we should be looking for, but we should be looking for the main thing. Well, your partner has to have can do house things, no practical stuff like cooking, washing, stuff like that, which is very important. And they must be able to stand on their own. I mean, it would be good to marry to someone who already have a foundation for themselves. They have a good job, and they are probably looking to get your own home and stuff like that. It's good to really start off strong. Start strong, and you will able to. You won't be falling down. That means you alone carrying the weight, and the other person is not able to carry the weight. Both of you, it will be good if you both of you are balanced. Equal sharing, equal giving to the relationship. You know, and that's how I see it best. So to
But
really take
you
time
know,
and choose.
Pastor Maxfield, I have to interject here because you're talking about, persons having standing on good footing and, being able to
Yeah,
balance each other. But I remember
right.
my days when I was growing up. My grandmother never really worked. My grandmother was the housemaker.
Housewife,
And
yes,
her husband was the one who would, Mama would have her little field that she would go to and she'd plant her little produce. And from that, she would sell a little bit at the market, or she would give the neighbor next door some in exchange for the neighbor giving her maybe some callaloo or, a chicken. We
yes,
did sustenance living. So it's not
right.
always feasible that somebody might be able to go out there and physically bring in um the dollar. But at the same time, I think what is important is that the minds are working together,
Yes,
you know
good,
because I think
yes.
the minds and this little thing here that I
Productive.
have this little thing here that I have in my hand, coupled with something
Hmm.
like this that goes like
Yes,
this, because somebody has got to be the keeper of the finances. And
right.
I think that you're a pastor, and I'm sure that you do a lot of counseling, and you will
Yeah.
find, based on the little bit that I do, that a lot of times, because I'm an event planner, so I do a lot of weddings in the past, and I still do. I'm also a wedding officiant. I find that a lot of times is that you'll meet people a year later and they're no longer married. And you
Mm.
wonder because it started bad from day one with the, no planning for the finances and stuff like that. So there are a couple of things, and I touched on them last week. And I'm not trying to, take over the whole conversation. But I think, and I speak to you as a reverend, and I'm going to come back to you, Mr. Barnett, because the church, there are a couple of things, Pastor, that the church does not do when they are doing premarital counseling, which is very important. It is the church as a taboo about speaking about sex. That's number one. Number two, the church themselves, a lot of them are not, when it comes on to finances, they are not viable. They don't do proper bookkeeping and all of that. And so I find that those are two of the major things that makes problem in the marriage, coupled with number three, lack of communication,
That's right.
miscommunication. So
Yes,
I mean, those are the things that I just want to point out. But
that's right.
question to you though, gentlemen, because you're both excellent fathers. What set that example for you guys? Did you have a good example of a mentor to follow in your home when you were growing up? Was there a father figure in the home? How did you guys become so great at fatherhood?
For me, no. I didn't. I didn't. Okay, so father left to Canada from I was like 3. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see him back until like 22. So I didn't have
Until you were how old?
22.
Wow.
So that I have that in the home, but like most of us at the back of Jamaica is I was in, and from there I had a few people that were married for 50 years, 20 years. I was always closer to the older people than the younger person.
Mm-hmm.
With that, I learned a lot, and from that, I take on my own persona in deciding how you can teach kids what you want in terms of what kind of counsel you're gonna give them and be there for them if you're gonna if you be the father that you did as a person want your life. So that's how I go about it. And along with that, I do a lot of reading. So I read a lot so you can understand what's going on, understand how to bring out your duty and your responsibility. Father.
Okay. So is it that you're saying that a part of your learning and becoming a good father is because of the village situation that you were in? It takes a village to raise a child?
Yes, because not just I didn't learn it from well, I didn't have a father figure. I grew up with my aunt. I learned it
Mm-hmm.
from a father figure. So I external in terms of we're in the church and a long relationship marriage. So with that, I learned that, and as I said, I'm close to the whole of church than the. So
Okay.
yeah.
What about you, Pastor Matthew?
Yes, I had a really stable father in my for my my
Upbringing?
growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my mother would hardly be there. My mother would be the one who go out. She was a traveler. She would travel a lot, and she would always come back months afterwards, and she would try to spoil us. Cause when she come back from overseas, she have a lot of money, and she would want us to grow up like some rich kids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And but I tend to cling to my father mostly,
Mm-hmm.
because my father was always there washing our clothes, cooking the food, taking
Mm-hmm.
us to school, doing everything, clean out, do everything. And he's the one who teaches us how to do things at home. My mother came in, you know, when she ready, and we learned both from both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned to see the man as a stable person. The importance. I learned to respect a stable man in a home. And I remember the days when I used to do well in school. And my father would be the one who said, keep us in the school, keep us in school. And then my mother would come and want us to take us out of that school and put us into like one of those rich people school, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and that would cause us to suffer, in being stable in education,
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely rebel against what my mother wanted to do, because I realized that it's not all about riches, it's not all about money, it's not all about at a young age, I would say I don't really want to be spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
I want to grow up and be firm as my father is. I want to have a steady job. I want to be able to be there for my family. I want to be able to stay in school and finish out school, and not just to go to jump all over the place. So I learned from my father to be really stable, and to stay in the home and be look after your family. You know, don't go all over the world and go all over the place. So that is why I grew up to respect
But
my father.
it's funny, especially you being a young man, that was your stance, because I'm sure probably if I asked Ruan would say, well, I like the rich feeling rich thing kind of quick. Am I correct, Ruan? It's funny that you wouldn't want that, because you chose
Hmm.
otherwise. I guess you
Yes,
chose stability over money,
Yeah.
because you
yes,
know that, guess, maybe, yes, she comes around and she's here, but then pretty soon she's gone again, and your father is all that you would have still. Am I correct in that?
yes. And it's not really, you're gonna miss. You see, the thing is, when a person is there for you, it is better than you share the little what you have. You don't have to. It's not really money. Most of these children nowadays that are that are out there. It's not really money, because our culture is growing up children like barrel children, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and everything is coming down from overseas, parents sending stuff from overseas and all of that. That is not the right way to really grow up children. And I figured that out as a young child. I need the love. I need to play with my father. I want to play. I want to be able to talk with him, run jokes, and we share. We walk together to school, walk, and come home together and stuff like that. You cannot put a price on that. No, you cannot put a price on
And
relationship.
I'm sure that Juan will tell me the same thing, that to him, his children are that kind of a priceless that he puts on his kids, because
Mhm.
I know Rowan, and I know that, family, his children is, his other half. Those are what are most important to him. So, Rowan, do you want to touch on that? Not having your father there between the age of 3 and 22, how did that make you feel? Because we oftentimes look at the mothers who are MIA, but now
Yeah.
we're looking at the fathers who are MIA. Tell us, as a man who needed that
So
connection with your dad, how did that make you feel?
well, you feel empty because you feel like something is missing, and you don't.
Mhm,
That person that's supposed to be there to teach you, about life, about manhood, a teenager, when you're a teen and so on. There was
mhm,
still that emptiness within yourself. So growing up, you know that something is missing.
mhm,
For most of us, that most people that are gonna listen to this don't grow up with one parent or so like Paul was saying, he grew up with his dad, not his mom, and then
mhm,
a lot more people will grow up with their mom but not their dad. So
mhm,
what I think is a solution is you have to somehow find mentors that can fill the void of your mom or your dad. And with that, you try to learn stuff or try to put in mind that you don't want that same thing uh, to happen to your children in going MIA, as Pastor was saying. So
mhm,
I now I prefer. Okay, I know Pastor was saying to go back a minute. He was saying that when two persons come together, you want both person to be making money. But
mhm,
as a person personally, I don't. That's not a concern. Well, if you get certain values like that's not my concern. Is to okay, I have to find a girl that should have certain money, what this amount of money. So what you do is you look for a person with the quality, because we have our own money as a father, as a male figure,
mhm,
providing for the family full, not halfway full. So a lot of times, okay, sometimes you don't even ready for a kid because you cannot provide for that kid. Yes, I
mhm,
days in Jamaica, people are like, oh yeah, you can have 10 kids, and they,
mhm.
they must go to school. That's to me is not that to me is like bullshit. So you're gonna have to know.
Mine pass to put you at the back bench.
Mhm. I know.
Yeah, no, basically, most of us gonna live in poverty because if the guy have 5 or 6 children and they're not married, Pastor and his wife is going together and
Mhm,
making they having a living off the budget. You tend to find that most of our people will be in poverty. A single female can have 2 or 3 kids that they cannot provide for. If you're gonna live like somewhere in Canada and be single with 2 kids, that means that is poverty for the rest of your life. There's no way you're gonna come up with 200,000 to put on a down payment for a house. So you're gonna be in rent or government house for the rest of your life. So
mhm.
there's ways and means that I tell people that you want to stick together as a family because you can do more stuff, more things
Together.
together than apart. And I think a lot of us not getting that. We tend to, want to separate ourselves.
But you both have big talk. But it's all good and well, Pastor Andrew, for you to say what you say, and Ron, for you to say what you say, about you guys being responsible, being the head of the household, wanting to provide for the family. But having said all you said, if I was to take your partner, your wife, apart and ask them the question, who is Ron really? Who is Pastor Andrew? Do you think I would get the same response from them that you guys are giving? Would we, viewers included, get the same response from your wife, your partner, as to what you're saying, identifying who you are now?
For me, hopefully yes, because for my kids, I'm the one that provide everything for them. It's not the itch. If there's something wrong or something needs to get done, pertaining to money or spending school or whatever, I provide every single part of the way. I don't. There's no time I'm gonna go. Okay, you do that for my son or my daughter. No, I will do it. So I will do it all because my life is really all the money that I'm making is for really my kids, not for me to do, buy all these expensive stuff, but for me to build a foundation that they can grow up and have a solid foundation and move on from there. Hopefully, to take all what I'm doing and expand on it. But I'm saying for me, hopefully it will be a yes. I can't determine exactly what people say, but honestly, and God know that I don't ask none of them to do. If they do it, is for they want to do it. But I cover all grounds when it come on to my kids.
Okay, Pastor Andrew.
Yeah.
I know you
Yes, I
told us
do.
early. I know you told us earlier on that you're no longer full-time employed, but I know that you have it at it pat up to a certain point. What would your
Mhm.
wife say? Should I ask her now? Who? Let me take off the past and say to her, who is Andrew at home? What would she say?
Well, she say just the same because not working with a company or give up my job, my 9 to 5 or whatever you call it. I I've made provision for my family. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I am still making money. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
not hard work anymore because you have
Mm-hmm.
to work, you have to do
Because
investment
you're
and
putting
stuff.
more into the ministry than than
Right,
than than you used to.
right.
Okay.
I have more time at home.
Mm-hmm.
I have more time to get involved with what my children and family are doing because when I used to work out there, I only come home at night and I
Mm-hmm.
really sometimes they are in bed and I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't even get get to hear how the day went and all of that. So
Mm-hmm.
it is so good that I have found the time now, and still young. That's a good thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
still young, still have energy, still able to, you know, run up and down with them same way. Still able to play
Right.
and stuff like that. Because even though they are 14, they still want to play. They are still kids.
Right.
They
Right.
still want
Right.
to play. They still want to go to the beach. They still want to, have fun. And
So it
and I'm
gives
so
you
glad.
more time to spend with your family and at the same time still making your provision as you go along. But
Yes.
as we're talking about the man and your role and your responsibility, I want to look back more on the wife. And for our viewers watching, once again, you are tuned in to CS Bite and a Mouthful. And this evening, we are looking at the man. What role does he play in the household? Is he still the man? Is he the head or is he the tail of the household? So we're getting some intriguing answers and we will try to dig up to find out a little bit more from Rowan Barnett and Pastor Andrew MacPhail, and hopefully that we will still be joined by Councilman Brent in a short while or at some point before the show is done. I think maybe he might have had a emergency at the firehouse because usually he's a man of his word. So if he's not here, I presume it's because of a reason. Um, but Pastor Andrew, what did you see in your wife that made you want to marry her? That made you believe that you could meet up to the standard of who she was looking for in a husband and a lifetime partner?
Well, I definitely like her as a friend. But that is what I saw her as before. She was the person who caring, loving, and supportive. And
Mm-hmm.
with those three things, I couldn't see everything. There's no way you could know everything about a person, even if you were dating, even if you know them for 5 years, because I know her for more than 5 years before we even got married.
Mm-hmm.
But I one other thing, I like how she talked to me. Her voice is so soothing, and she's a hardworking lady. I see she take care of her home, and she is a respectable person. You don't hear anybody saying any bad thing about her, and you know she loves God most of all, and she
Mm-hmm.
serves in the church. And these are some of the things that really drawn me to her, and she see the same about me. She would say the same, that she admired the way how I serve as a Christian, and the integrity, and the moral standing, and
Mm-hmm.
we just live good. We just live good, live good with
Mm-hmm.
people, and in general, we are good people. So
Okay.
yeah,
So, Mr. Barnett, would you like to answer that for
Yeah.
me? What makes you or would make you want to marry your partner?
Okay. So when I well, you see the quality of the person.
Mm-hmm.
The caring of the children or the child. Um, if they see you as a leader in the home, because you don't want to go inside of a marriage with the person don't see you as a leader. Then you can't have two leaders in one house. So if the person if they I mean if they see me as a leader, I see me as somebody that is responsible and give me the time to lead. In Then those are some quality. I look at the quality of they taking care of the children. Paul also mentioned that earlier in terms of cooking, cleaning, whatever. Because I'm not looking for somebody to make money so that I can progress. I'm looking for somebody to help me along what I'm doing, because my responsibility and my duty is to provide and protect, and that's some of my duties to
So,
to the
so
orphan.
my question, my response to that, Rowan, is that you're
Mm,
not looking for your wife to work. You're looking for your
no,
wife
no,
to be home, to be a good mother, to be a good
yeah,
partner and wife to you. So is it that you're looking for a house partner? I mean, when I say house
yeah,
partner, I
because
mean you want to come
yeah.
home to a well kept home, well kept kids, and then you can have a conversation. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, because if a female or wife gonna be at home, that don't mean that they have a lot of work to do, because you're gonna have to do the finance. You mentioned that earlier. Someone have to
Mhm.
make sure all the bills are paid, or so the credit can be good still. Make sure the kids go to school, the kids learning. There's a lot of work to be a stay-home mom, or just to say, okay, that's a regular thing, or just that's not for me. It's a lot of work when you're staying, especially for a person like me, that I'm gonna have different businesses that you're gonna need so much different help with. So it's not just because they're not working for someone else, but they will be able to help me in what I'm doing, uh, in terms of moving it forward. But I wouldn't want to have a wife and then she's working.
Okay, so you mentioned something a while ago about the wife and the bookkeeping and the all of that.
Yeah.
Pastor Macfield, And I touched on this earlier on, that a lot of men will say, I'm your husband, but I'm not your financer. So guess what? I work the
Mm,
money and I will give you how much I think you need to get. Some of them will even count
wow.
it down to the T to give that poor woman, and she can't even budget it. How important is it?
Wow.
Because if you, how important is it to trust your wife, your partner with your finances? Because that can be big
That's
trouble and it can be good trouble.
that's very, very important. Trust is very important. I mean, we both have to trust each other 100%. 100%. There's no other way about it. Um, I am the one who do most of the spending. I am the shopper. I buy the grocery. I go to the supermarket. Anything to buy, I am the one. I love to shop. I go out there and I will get the deals and stuff. And she don't really spend. She's a saver, right? She would save the money, you
She'll
know.
tie the
So
thread back.
she what? She
She will
carry it.
tie the thread back.
Right.
Okay,
So
okay.
I am always I can rely on her for that part of what she does. She
Mm-hmm,
truly saves. She saves. She's not a spender like me, you know.
mm-hmm.
And anything I have to talk to her and say, listen, we need such and such a things, and we have to agree on it, and then I would go and get the stuff and go to the market. I love to go to the market. I love to sometimes she come with me, and I know she can't really manage that. She's mostly a home person. She's a homely person. She take care of the home. She
Okay.
can do most of that I cannot deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Because she does a very good job at home. You know, so it's like she will be at home taking care of things. I am the hunter. I go out there and hunt, bring in the food.
Right.
So we both share work. We don't cross over and take
Mm-hmm.
over the other person role. She know her role, I know my role, and we work together and we
So we're
share
talking about
everything.
division of labor here, wherein we stick within the lane that we are best suitable for. Um,
Yes,
but we have our listeners listening in, and we have some persons who are actually commenting. So let me just go through some of the comments and some of the responses. Shan and Alex says hello, and then Sandy and Bones TV hail us up either, saying hi. And then we have Anita Jones, and she said, "Good evening, Mr. Barnett. You sound
yeah,
scared of marriage. He needs to pray and wait for an answer." You hear that, Mr. You need to pray and wait for an answer. And she says,
She
"Sorry,
said,
is Mr. Barnett married?" Not as yet, Anita. I presume in the near future. Mr. Thomas Gordon said a solid argument passed. I'm not sure exactly, but I guess, maybe just about all the things that you have been speaking about. Patrice Anderson says, good evening. Sandra Fairclough, I presume this is one of your members, sir. Enough respect to the men and
yes.
oaths. Big up, Andrew McPhail.
Thank you.
Laura Lee McLeish, Pastor McPhail, you sound very respectful of your wife. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much on his behalf, Laura Lee. I mean, you want to give your response, young man?
huh?
Do you
You
guys
say?
want to give a response to some of these
Yes.
messages?
Very, very good
Okay, go ahead.
responses.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not scared. I'm not
You,
scared.
you're not scared.
I'm not.
You're just
No,
cautious.
no.
You're
I'm
just
cautious.
cautious. Okay.
Yes.
So tell us, both of you gentlemen, can you tell us, your listeners, tune in or who will watch or replay at some point, is there something now or in the past in your marriage relationship that made you wonder if you made the right choice in your partner? Look here,
You want to
Pastor.
go
Don't
ahead?
be
Yeah,
afraid.
whatever.
Don't be afraid. You know, if your wife come at you, just holler at me.
Well, you know, is life. Life is all about challenges. You know. So
Mm-hmm.
it's so you know all of these things is natural for a person to think about. You know what would be what where would you be if you did not make this turn? You know it's good to really look back and try and backtrack and see you know how things would have turned out different. But you know the good thing about it is you know you make something work whatever you do. I mean
Mm-hmm.
I am a person whatever I make up my mind, you know. I already make up my mind, and even when we were getting married that very day, one of the things I say, I don't really believe in married to divorce. So whatever it comes with, I will be responsible. You know, I would be the responsible one. I would be the one who would keep the marriage going. You know, it don't matter what the other person thinks, because I mean, rough times come. I mean, teeth and tongue must meet. You're getting, you know, you have your differences sometimes, and you know, sort it, fix it. You know, fix the problem. And sometimes, you know, you can't fix it one time. Sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
takes time to to fix. And even, you know, living together, there are differences you will see come up and things, you know, different stuff. So it is a process, you know. So you know you do not jump ship because you have problems. You know, that is not
Bro,
the reason to give up. You know that you're in it for the long haul. You're in it for better or worse. You know, and you know both of you work well together. That is one of the things we must always remember. When you're married for the better. You know, married for the worse. For really, even though you might get tough times and you feel like, sure, you know, this thing not working out and this and that and that. The most important thing is when you both are together, you are at your best. And that is what makes me know that this that you know is best to work it out, because the marriage make us better. You know, when you are out of it, you are I don't see life beyond that. I don't look at my life any other way. I look at my life to stay in it, work it out, and move on with our plans. Because remember, you know, we don't just come into it and sitting down. We have plan. You know, marriage takes planning. You know, you every day you're planning stuff. You're working on a project together. You're doing stuff together. You know, it's not like we're sitting down looking in space. We're working out stuff. So each step of the way is it's a beauty. It's a accomplishment. You know, every day is an accomplishment. Every year is an accomplishment. So it's rewarding. So you know, you look forward to enduring it.
Okay, Mr. Barnett.
yes. Okay, so well, basically, I, question is about if I see that in a person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say yes, but then okay, you want more because it's like a pastor saying pastor saying basically his wife know her duty and her responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I find that most female now don't understand their duty and their responsibility. Um, so with that said, sometimes you kind of want that to get out of the way before you really commit forever. You want both person to understand their responsibility and their duty. And I mean, if you find that that's the case, then we always can go forward. But I think if, especially in the younger generation, like my generation, is we feel like oh we more take things from the internet and from like friends that are not. So you take counsel. A lot of females that on the verge of getting in a relationship taking counsel from single people. And when you take counsel from single people that not in a relationship, that not gonna go anywhere. I mean, I don't know if you find that in your church, pastor, but you're gonna find that you have more ladies in the church than men.
I'm not here. We're not hearing you.
Are you
Okay,
not hearing me? Okay.
we're hearing you
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. So you're gonna find that you have more ladies in the church than men, and that's particular for a reason all over the
Mm-hmm.
world. Because even the guy is come to the church and get married. Sooner or later, as you were mentioning earlier, next year they're separated because they didn't counsel enough to understand each other, understand the duty of the male and the duty of the female, and the
Mm-hmm.
responsibility of the male and the responsibility of the female. So
Mm-hmm.
that counsel didn't happen before there was a kid or there is marriage. So that's what I'm kind of I want before I said okay, yes, let's do it. You kind of want both of us to understand what's our role, what's our goal, what's our purpose,
Mm-hmm.
what's our duty, and continue. So I don't have any, yeah.
So my question that I asked, and I'll ask that again,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
is there any reason to want to question something in the past or in the current that would make you wonder if you are in the right relationship?
Well, yes, for me, yes,
Okay.
because and it go back to um believing and knowing that I'm the head,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the tail of the
Mm-hmm.
also, and counseling when there's decision making. A lot of time I go back, as I said, I go back to if you go back to even 50 years ago, 60 years ago, or 200 years ago, or 1,000 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
back in 2,000 years ago when Christ was here, you find that the man is the head, and the supporting role, which is the female,
Mm-hmm.
will support the man. But you find now that the women want to be equally the head of the household with the man, and then that gonna cause contention, and that gonna cause difficulty. So
You
I'm
know,
looking at that right now. Go ahead.
you made a comment earlier on. You spoke about the quality of the care that your partner would give to the household.
Yeah,
You spoke about caring of the child and even
yeah,
the attention to you as the partner. You wanted somebody to see you as the leader in the home and what constitute the head. But may I ask,
yeah.
how do we view the
Sure.
head? Is it that when you say jump, you don't need a question asked as to how high or how far? Because a lot of men are like that. They will ask a question, right? Or they will make a comment, but the minute that the woman answers, I have found this in a lot of relationships, that persons will want to
Yeah.
talk down to their partners or say things to their partners, but they don't want a response. They just want somebody who is 100% submissive. Is this what you're looking for?
Not 100% submissive, but okay. So, for instance, I'm doing some research. Research that I'm doing. You find that most, okay, in our black community, we find that most females, maybe one out of every four female are married. I mean, Pastor
Mm-hmm.
can attest to that in the church. Okay, I mean, I've
Mm-hmm.
been to church and I see the same thing. And there
Mm-hmm.
must be a reason. It must be a reason why is this the case? Okay, and then you look at the reason. Most female and most of us grow up by one parent. So our mom teaches a certain way, and teach a female a certain way, and teach a male a certain way. Maybe because a lot of people see that one person figure in the household, they tend
Mm-hmm.
to like female tend to like feel more aggressive and feel like okay, I can do it by myself. I can do it. I see my mom do it, so I can have four kids and I don't need a man. That's kind of attitude. Or they tend to. I don't understand 100% committed to be submissive, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying working with the person. The other communities are doing it far better than us. Why? The white community, the Indian community, the Chinese community. That means that
Mm-hmm.
we have a problem in our community that no one is not looking at it. And
Do you
I think
think
that
it's coming?
we
Do
have a
you
lot
think
more
it's
broke. Yeah.
do you think it's coming from, our past, slavery, the aggressiveness, the fact that we have had to fight for every kind of freedom that as Black people we have? Um, because you mentioned something, and it's a question, it's a comment that I just wrote. Why is it that most other nationalities, the whites, the Indians, as you mentioned, the Chinese, with a lot of all these arranged marriages that happened even before the child was born, it would be said that, okay, if Pastor Andrew and his wife has a child, then that child has to marry your son, and my daughter will have to marry your, those kind of
Yes.
prearranged marriages. But
Yes.
yet still those relationships work out. You have people that have couples that I work with that have been together from they were like 13, 15, and they're like in their ages going up, and it is still working. What do you think is the cause of that?
I think it's because of that is in now in the world now is we tend to think we have too much options. Okay, we tend to
Mm-hmm.
feel like, okay, I have all the options in the world. Female tend to don't understand their role as female. We The aggression that you said from slavery.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so, because in the same office I'm talking to older couples that is a lot of them that is together for 50 years, 55
Mm-hmm.
years. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so but they have a understanding, and the wife know her duty, and I go back to that, and the father know his duty as to the
Pastor Andrew,
family.
what
And I don't
Pastor
think
Andrew,
we yeah, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. Finish your speech. Finish what you're saying, Ron.
Yeah, and those things that right now in our society and our time
Mm-hmm.
right now in the world, I think that is missing. That is missing, that we don't understand our duty as individual, as the father,
Mm-hmm.
as the man, and as the female.
I was listening to somebody commenting last night on a program, and he was very upset and annoyed because he said that I think it's coming from out of Jamaica, and he was saying that there was a child who on Mother's Day gave the mother a Father's Day card. So he was saying that women, we have to know who we are, no matter how much we have been the ones who have just been there. There's no father in the house. At the same time, as a woman, we are not fathers. We cannot be fathers because
That's right.
it's two different responsibilities. And, as you talk about knowing the roles and the responsibilities, I want us as women to understand. I remember when I was getting married, I didn't start because I was in a long-term relationship with my children's father. So I think that the only other natural progression was that we would get married and have a family life, and being an event planner and doing so many weddings and all of that. And then it was a very busy season. I mean, I remember when I was getting married, for all of that month and beyond, I had weddings, 2, 3 weddings for the entire weekend. So I got pretty tied up. And so I did not start counseling until very late into the planning stages. But, Pastor still had to do some rapid, series of, um, counseling with us. But quite honestly, when he started talking about some of the things that as a wife, I should be doing, which is like being submissive, being respectful. He brought out that scripture, I think, in Corinthians, that spoke about Christ being the head of the church, and loving the husband should love the wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for the church. But then it spoke about the woman being, it didn't say respectful. I think it used another word there, for which comes back to the
Modesty.
wife, hmm? Which comes back
Yes.
to to what it was saying about the wife being respectful to the husband. And he said we should remember that the Bible doesn't say anything about the wife loving the husband. The Bible speaks about the husband loving the wife, but that the wife should be, I'm trying to,
Submissive.
somebody tell, submissive to that husband. I don't think it was the word submissive. And what he was pointing out is that that word meant respect,
Mhm.
right? And I find that for a lot of men that I speak to,
Or
they
honor.
don't honor, right? That's the word. And a
Mhm.
lot of men that I speak with will tell you that even if they and their wives have a disagreement at home, they're quite okay because, teeth and tongue will meet, as Pastor Andrew said and you said. But
Mhm.
the part that really get to them is when it becomes public, when the wife will speak down to them in a public forum. And, men
Actually,
have this thing about their pride,
Mhm.
you know.
Yes.
So as I said, it's not about us wives loving the husband. It's about the husbands loving us and us wives honoring the men. And I think that's what a lot of men are looking for, that respect.
Yes. That is true.
that's
And when you look at the marriage, the fixed marriages, how they work.
Mm-hmm.
These marriages work because they are both prepared.
Mm-hmm.
They all their life they were prepared. You start to groom a child, a child, a girl child from she's probably 8, 9. Saying, listen, you're going to marry to this gentleman here, and you get to learn about who he is. You get to learn about, how to respect and how to, to live. And it's a traditional thing. It's not like something that you're going to make up at the moment. It is a consistent thing. It's something that is handed over to generation, how to operate in a marriage. And I think what is happening today, most children are not knowing, they don't know how. They're looking into the different things to find answers. And, it's not handed down, it's not coming from the parents. You know, these are the things that parents should be teaching their children. And instead of parents teaching their children how to operate as in a marriage, they are learning it from other places. They are learning it from the television. And
Mm-hmm.
many get married and they're not really ready. They're not
Mm-hmm.
really, in the position where they, yes, I can deal with an argument. If an argument come, I can deal with the argument. Nowadays you look for your husband just like anybody else out the road. Your husband and you meet an argument, you gotta talk to him just like how you talk to your friend out the road.
Mm-hmm.
You don't learn the honor thing, or you don't learn the love thing, how to love your wife as Christ loved the church. So you see, we're not really prepared. That's how I see it. We are not prepared. It's not a generational thing. It wasn't properly taught to us. So you come up as a child, your parents just say, anyhow, you're gonna get married one day, and you learn from me, but never really break it down to you and say, all right, so and so and so. Most children right now, they don't know what they're gonna get into when they become adult and they're gonna marry. They only look at soap operas. They listen to soap operas. Why so many books are out there and they're reading a lot of love story book and all of that, and that is most what they're learning from. You know. So we need to, instill certain values in our children. Let them know that marriage is honorable and the bed is undefiled, and when you when you get married, you're pleasing God and you're honoring God also. And marriage is not something that exempt God. It doesn't matter if you're a Christian or not. Marriage is something that honors God. You don't. Yes, because you come before in holy matrimony. Yes, and that is something that you have to remember. Say, there's moral values in marriage. It's a high standing thing. It's not something that you get married to your partner now and you use it as a launch pad for you to, oh, I have a husband now, so we can't do anything. You know, I want to go back to parties. I want to, I want to support. I want, you have to concern about his feelings too,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to concern about her feelings. If I'm gonna stand up on the corners and drink with my friend them and hang out all night, oh, she's gonna feel. She's gonna feel worried, you know. And you have to consider each other now and how to please each other, because that's what the Bible say, when a man take a wife, he,
Mm-hmm.
he, he, he is giving God less of what he should be giving God, because his mind now is to please his wife.
This is wife.
Yes, so he must
Okay.
please his wife as well as his wife must please him. So
Mm-hmm.
the character, the quality of our character now is to please each other. You know, if I am going to be late, I call her. I say, I'm going to be late, and so on. So you know, you take, because we depend on each other. You know, my wife wouldn't be going out and not saying she's going out, or she would not be going to a party and not telling me that I'm going to a party. I want to hang out with my friends. There are many things you
What
have to give up when you
what you
when
need,
you get married. Yes.
but what you need in our community is for like your wife that are living that kind of life right now to teach as much young girls as much as she can
Mhm.
that this is how you honor the man, and then for me to teach my son
Right.
or other guys out there, because we're not doing that. We're not being trained how to even be in a relationship. We just start to do
Yes.
it. Like, okay, I have a guy, I have a girl, like this, and then we just start to do it. So we're not being trained to to even be married, not being trained. And which was saying earlier, even the church not giving us the counsel when you go to the for before marriage, the proper counseling. You may counsel and say, "Oh yeah, God love us," and that's the right thing. But is financial counseling is there? Is
Mm-hmm.
okay. There's other counseling that is necessary that we're not teaching our people. Money is important. Sometimes we know in the church we tell oh, money is not important, but money is important because that's gonna bring you kind of stress and your family when you do married and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids and then you
Mm-hmm.
can provide for them. No, the government have to be able to come in to provide for your kids. And God don't make it like that. That's not a way of God. There's no in the
Mm-hmm.
Bible, I read it like probably 6 or 7 times, that he said the man need to provide for his family. So I don't think we teaching our brothers and sisters this these principles. We're not
But
teaching them our principles like that. That we need to do more. We need to do more as a father. We need to do more as a mom. We need to do more as a sister, brother. We just need to do more. We need to do a lot more. Maybe 10 times more than what we're doing right now.
all right. So, I have a few comments that I have made here, and I'll try to
Yeah.
go through them as quickly as possible. And
Right.
one of them is actually a question. How important, or what importance do we place on getting others involved in your marriage and in your relationship? Mark you, I know that there are a lot of abuses, and that most abuse will start not with the physical, but with the verbal, the psychological, the emotional. But when we start having a problem in relationship, in marriages, sometimes these are things that can be fixed. I've seen that. But because we start telling, I go to Andrew and I say, boy, Rowan, do this to me. And, Andrew come to me and say, boy, my wife do this to me. And I know say, oh, make the girl go, man. Make she go on, or make the boy go about in business. And so we start to disrespect. We start making others disrespect our partners in front of us. That is a big boo.
Mhm.
There's no
Yeah.
way that
Uh,
your friend or your family should be coming into disrespecting our partners. And hence,
that's
why
true.
I feel that a lot of times we need to try to work things out. Because, I'll tell you, there is a relationship, somebody I know very well, and over 30 years ago, they had a problem in their marriage. And because so many persons had become involved in the relationship, although family was saying, try to make it work. But because so many persons were already involved in the relation, in saying, talking down to each, the wife friend talking down about the husband's friend talking about. So I think after a while, it was more of an embarrassment for them to stay together than to be apart. Can
Wow.
I tell you that maybe about
Very bad.
5 years ago, the husband said to me, and not a good friend that he had who was telling him to leave the wife. Do you know what the friend said to him about 5 years ago? Boy, so and so, if you and your wife had stayed together, can you imagine the dynasty that dynasty that you guys would have now? Uno would move mountains, man.
Yes.
So a lot
True.
of times people see
Yes.
in your relationship what you don't see. And because of that, people don't want you to excel above them. So because of that, they don't want your relationship to work. And so I'm
That's
speaking to
true.
couples out there, young or old. Sometimes we have to gauge what we say to people.
Mhm.
We have to gauge we have to gauge how we get persons involved in our relationship. Because not everybody who smiles with you is with you. Not everybody who smiles with you is going to want to see you
That's very
excelling
true.
and getting to the level that they're at, or maybe surpassing them. So sometimes you need to eliminate persons out of your relationships and try to
Yes.
work it together.
Save
And
your marriage. Right.
if you have
Mhm.
to seek counseling, get professional counseling. Don't get counseling from family and friends who go and say, oh, somebody didn't know say a long time the one they never good for you. And me didn't know say a long time you shouldn't did date this girl. You should have that. Sometimes a lot of people are telling you so too, because they themselves have eyes out for you, whether it be for the wife or for the husband. So I'm talking to persons out there in the land. Be careful.
Yeah.
Careful how you spill the beans, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so my other point is, do you think that persons are getting married for the wrong reasons? Because in
Yes.
today's society, a lot of people are living above their means, or I wouldn't even say above their means, but economy. Life is so hard for a single person, especially a young single person, to make it rent, mortgage, light, water, transportation, food, maybe having to assist the family, maybe having to be assisting, younger siblings with schools and all of that. So I think a lot of times people think that, boy, if two of us are together, maybe we can work it out a little bit more feasible. So I
Mhm.
think that there are a lot of things that are coming together to make people make certain decisions. Last week, we spoke about marriages on this program. We spoke with a couple who had been married for 49 years. And we had a couple, Anita, she's on the line tonight. She's listening in, Jones. She has been married for just 3 months, but it's a reconnection with her first love. So, marriages are still happening. Love is still going around. Um, but there were some important points last week that our couple spoke about. They spoke about communication. One person spoke about, as Pastor says, a lot of times, or I don't know if it was Pastor or Ron, you spoke about, okay, so now I'm married, I don't have to put in this extra effort. Have you ever seen some relationships that it
Yeah.
started out nice and pretty and smooth, and you think it would end that way, but guess what happened? At some point, we get lapse because we are comfortable in the relationship now. We are comfortable in the marriage. We are now misses, especially women. I'm talking to us. We are now misses. We now wear the ring, right? So no, this is just a costume, girl. We now wear the
Yeah.
ring. So you don't have to put any effort in it again. It becomes effortless now that you are now misses. It becomes effortless now that you're living together. Um,
Mhm.
so how much emphasis, how much do we, it is said that what you put in is what you get. What are we
Yes.
putting into relationships, and what do we want out of it? Another couple last week spoke about divorce proofing your marriage, and you do so via communication. You do so via um, just
Prayer.
speaking nice words to each other.
Yeah.
The dear and the endearment and the this and the that. You know, another thing I remember my pastor's wife told me a couple years ago, and Pastor Andrew, this is good for you. She spoke about watching the spirit of sisters within the church.
Mm.
I remember her telling me about some sister who came and put their foot up on the car dashboard. And
Wow.
she said, you know that little part of the door that's where you step in to go into the car, right? Where that's a call, right there. That little thing where the door closes in on, man. Whatever that little part of
Okay.
the place is.
Side piece. Yeah. Yes.
That the little step there, so going into the car. And she said
Yes.
she and her husband was in the vehicle, and the sister came to say something, and the sister came to her husband's part of the door, and the sister put her feet there, and she said she gently got out of her car, and she went around to her, and she said, take your legs down. She said she didn't embarrass her. Take your leg down.
Mm.
And she said
My
it's called the familiar spirit that you have to look out for,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
I mean, I have good friends, and my friends and I talk. And we talk about our partners, we talk about husbands, we talk about relationship, we talk about life. But guess what? We don't become disrespectful of each other's partner.
Yes.
As you know, Pastor Maxwell, your wife and I and Laura Lee, we are coming way years in the back, right? We don't get personal. We don't, whatever. We don't become disrespectful of each other's relationship. What we try to do, we try to build, we don't try to tear down.
That's right.
So
Mm-hmm.
I am asking you guys, in closing, we're going to wrap up. To our young couples, young women, young men who might be watching this program. And before I do so, I just want to put in two little announcements here. And that, as I said, I'm a wedding officiant. I'm also an event planner. And the name of my officiant business is ID Wed. And we are a wedding officiant serving New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, and surrounding areas. We have full packages available for services for, doing both the wedding sermon and for the reception. And we are located in the Essex County area of New Jersey. So give us a call, DM us, 201-466-6936 is our number. You want to get married, you just want something small, intimate. Here is where you need to be. Bring us your license, and we send you away licensed. So, in closing, someone listening to us this evening, Rowan, we're talking about our men in today's society. Are our men still men of head of the household? Are they holding true and firm to their duties and responsibilities? Speak to a young man, speak to a young couple, a young girl. It could be a sister, it could be a daughter wanting to get married. What should she be looking for in that man? What should that man be looking for in that woman? And why do you think that our men are still men, that they are still the head and not the tail? Who wants to go
Well,
first?
well, I'll go first, but
Okay.
Okay.
but the thing is, okay, so I think the percentage is small in terms of a lot of good men in the world right now, because in terms of, if you're gonna look for a husband, you're gonna want to look for someone that is responsible, someone that can provide. If I'm gonna say to my daughter or my sister, you're gonna marry this guy. He's supposed to be providing for you, be that person that's gonna protect you and your children. I don't think that there's many like that. The percentage is small. That's what I think. That's what I see. Um, so, but there's some out there. You may have to search a little bit longer and harder. But and for the guys that not there as yet. We have to do more in terms of making ourselves a person that can provide for our family. That is important, and
Mm-hmm.
to be the head of the household. Without you providing for your family and say you're the head of the household, that's not gonna happen. That cannot happen. If the ladies, if your wife or your girl is one of doing all the work and you're just sitting there not doing anything, or she's providing for you, that's the problem. So that mean that you're gonna be the tail of the house. So we as men have to understand, and we as men have to understand our duty in terms of what happened 50 years ago, what happened 2,000 years ago. Our grandparents used to live before, and we have to go back to that. For the sisters, we have to understand that too. That um, it's a lot more difficult when both parents are working full time, two jobs, and to raise the children. That's not going to be a good remedy for our children in the future. Cannot work because it's so difficult then when one person was at home, like our grandma, our great grandmother, and now if
Mm-hmm.
both of us is not inside of the home, it's gonna be a lot more difficult. So, in terms of to get the children nurtured and on a good part, we tend to we as men have to do a lot more, and I don't think that we're doing enough as men to make it uh, a duty to make our wives or our girlfriends or stay home and don't have to be out there working two jobs and doing things. So we're looking for a man. We just have to do a lot more. Most of us men now is tails. To be honest with you, we're not taking our responsibility serious. We're not taking our father serious. We tend to follow other people and follow the shiny stuff that we see happening out there. So that's my take and both sides of the story.
Okay.
Yes.
So you do admit that some of the men are really tails and not head.
Oh yeah, no,
Mm,
no, no. No,
yes.
I'm always honest with this. Most men not taking their responsibility to where it's supposed to be. Most females uh are not doing that either. But for it to work, both have to understand back to what I'm saying, the duty and the responsibility. Without
Mm-hmm.
understanding both the duty and responsibility, then um, all this marriage and all this coming together not gonna work. It's just gonna be for a time, a short time too, months and couple of years. And so
And it is so sad because sometimes you see these couples coming to you, and quite honestly, from where I sit, they're not matched. Have you ever gotten that, Pastor Andrew, that you see couples coming to you and
Definitely.
you can
Definitely.
see it?
And you cannot tell them anything, because some of them they will just go ahead and get married. If you don't give them your blessing, they will still go and do it because we are living in a time right now. Nothing wrong with getting married. Yes, nothing wrong. Because we do want the right partner. We are human beings. We are seeking the perfect partner. And
Mm-hmm.
what mostly get people making wrong choices. Remember, man, as they say, woman is from Venus, man is from Mars. We are two different person.
Mm-hmm.
We like different things and we do different things differently. So you have to know that as you're marrying to somebody total opposite you. No matter how you say, oh, you might like Burger King, both of you like Burger King, or the both of you like to go to watch a movie, yes, or you like this or that. But there are gonna be a lot of stuff that are different. One heap, and it is gonna sometimes it's gonna be a struggle to just get things right. I mean, just to compromise, just to allow the person to be who they are. Don't try to change the person. Respect each other qualities. You're a person who like to sleep till 10 o'clock. don't be a bother, what I mean, allow each person to adjust, to let themselves be comfortable, you know, because it's really to live, it's not to really have a burden over your head every day. Oh, am I going to please him? Or am I going to please her? It's not a burden. It's supposed to be automatic. It's supposed to be, you must be comfortable with your partner. You must feel like he's the best person you ever been with, Yeah, you must feel that attraction all the time, you know. Don't let it be stressful. Don't stress out yourself. Oh, I have to buy her this, I have to buy her that. You know, work out things together, talk about things, talk about your feelings. Don't keep secrets. That's one of the things, don't keep secrets. I mean, sometimes the women them can't see through it. And you don't even know. The women them sometimes figure it out and you're holding it back. And you look like a fool trying to keep secret. Secret is not a good thing, because eventually it depends on what it is, unless you're hiding a gift for her and you want to surprise her. But I mean, try and don't hide things from your spouse. You're one. That's what marriage, the mathematics with marriage, 1 + 1 = 1. You're one. Jesus say, the bride are one. The church
Mm-hmm.
and Christ is one. We are. So when they come together, become one. You know. So you don't want to hide things. Especially things that will hurt your spouse. If your girlfriend still a talk to you, cut it off, man. Cut your ex-girlfriend. Sorry, you get married now. Get rid of the girlfriend thing, man. You're not supposed to have girlfriend out there. Every little thing you run gone to your girlfriend, go and talk to your girlfriend about this and that. Certain things are dangerous to marriage, and
Mm-hmm.
especially men out there who listen to their mother over their wife. Very dangerous thing that if your mother say, "Oh, she must do it this way, she must do it this way," don't pressure your wife to do it that way. If your wife cannot do it that way, respect her for what she can do. Because
But
some mhm.
Pastor, you're stepping in ansness now because that's another program you're stirring up here now, the in-laws.
Yes.
We
So
need to touch on one of those. We have
sometimes
to
your
touch on
friends,
one of
not
those.
only mother-in-law, your friends also. Sometimes you have friends raise the bar too high,
Mm-hmm.
and they set the bar high for your wife. Your poor wife cannot match up to that standard. You're putting her into a very tough situation. Respect her. If she cannot cook like a gourmet chef, don't pressure her and say, "Oh, she can't cook, oh, she can't this." There are many things that she can do that will that she will fill her role. Let every person grow into their space, grow into filling their role. You know, it's not going to happen overnight. You know, you have to
So what you're saying,
sometimes.
look,
Mhm.
what is it you're saying? Look for the best of her that she can give and value that.
Yes, value the best that she can do. If she can iron your clothes good, respect that. If she can wash the dishes, respect every little thing is a skill, is a gift. You know, she don't have to have all of them. The most important thing, you have to love her. You have to love her, and the Bible saying, "A perfect love casts out all fear."
Yes.
Love cannot see fault.
Mm-hmm.
And if you truly love your wife, you would never see that she cannot cook, because anything she could give you, anything she could give you, you're gonna
You
say,
can feel it,
"Wow,
Pastor.
it's so nice." All I would do is
And
just put a
now,
little
yeah.
pepper in it. You know,
Yeah.
you make her feel good. And if you do things for her that you want her to stick around. You don't want her to push her away and say, I was looking at a WhatsApp video one day, and a man was saying to his wife, she gave him some spaghetti, and he tasted it and said, "Oh, it tastes good, but my mother would do it better." And he got a really upset right there.
Uh-huh.
She sent something flying at him.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't treat each other like that. And just for the husband too, the wife, if a husband cannot do much things around the house. It's rarely you find a woman who are handy around the house, like can fix stuff. For instance, you buy a fan, and you get a fan in the box. Somebody have to learn how to fit up that fan and put the fan up together. You know, you have some men just cannot do it. You know, some men just don't have the practical skill to do these things. You know, it's not a problem. That doesn't mean that he's less of a man. That doesn't mean that he's a tail. No, women have a responsibility to honor their man. No care if him is a little, what do you call it, mama man, what do you call it, some soft man. No, because he might soft, you know, when you big him up in a woman, when you put him straight, you know, and you respect and say, wow, I love how you do this, I love how you do that. That man is high up, you know, that you lift up that man's spirit, you know, you lift that man to a high standard, even if you can't even change a tire, you know. You just
Pastor, your wife is saying, ha ha ha.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if you cannot change a tire, it doesn't have to have the skills. That don't make you a man. You know, having practical skill doesn't make you a man. It's just to love each other and be happy with each other. That's the most important thing in marriage. Just be happy. You know, God give you each other to be happy, not to really, oh, you can do this, I can do that. Skill. You know, sex is also very important. You know, spend time, make a time. If you're so busy and you cannot have time to be intimate, plan a day. Say, okay, let us take 2 days out of the week. Or some people want 1 day. Doesn't matter. It's not about having sex every week. You understand me? It's not about a whole heap of sex. I mean, just have a time of quality, intimate time. If you even want to light some candle, if you want to pull a champagne, whatever, just make it a wonderful time. You know, don't just rush through things. You know, and even once a week, it is good. I mean, do that. You know, and always go out. Always get a time to go out together. You know, walk together. I've longed to see husband and wife hold hands. You know, hold hands in the walk, go to a park. You know, some simple little things. You have to make your marriage happy. You have to make your marriage, you know, spicy. You know, give to it. You know, you're not go party again like when you used to young and you run up and down corners and all them things. So you have each other now. Your perfect friend. You have your best friend now. Where both of you can enjoy quality things together. Anywhere you're going, both of you go together. Yes, both of you go together as much as possible. Yes, I know some things you have men want to go by themselves and oh, I'm a man, I want to go bowling with my friends and so forth. Yeah, some manly things. Yes, but go fishing. Oh, you know, your wife probably don't want to go fishing or so on. So yeah, there are things that you can go as a man and there are places that women can go by themselves. Oh, I have to go to the hairdresser. No man not really hang out at a hairdresser or so forth. So there are places that women and man can go, but try and go out together mostly, you know, most of the time. Go out together and, you know, let people see you happy together. Yes. And just enjoy life. That's the most important thing. Take some vacation, man. You know, it's not all about money. It's not all about working hard. Oh, I have to work. I have to give you a car. Yes.
Go ahead, Ron.
They have to have the money to go on a vacation, though.
Yeah, but Ron, you know something? A vacation does not have to be expensive, you know.
You don't have to go to a five-star hotel.
We understand that, but
right.
Yes.
No, you know, sometimes you know, I think that a lot of people are looking for too much. Sorry everyone, I just had a break in my internet transmission there, so you might have noticed that you didn't see me on, so I had a break, but I'm back. But I'm just saying that it doesn't have to take a whole lot to keep a relationship going. You can walk with 2 wine glass from your house. Yes. You know, now you have them disposable if you don't have the right ones. You buy a bottle of Pepsi, buy a bottle of a soda, buy a bottle of something. Toast each other. Just keep something burned. Just keep something going. You know, as Pastor was saying earlier on, and he spoke about, you know, the couple and the spaghetti. I read a story somewhere that the man said he went home and the wife gave him toast because she was so tired in taking care of all these kids. And, you know, she did the dinner and the dinner, whatever, and she made the toast and the toast burnt. And He said he just took the toast, scrape it off, had the butter, and she said, "Oh my God, I'm so," and he was like, "Oh, babes, it's the best toast I've ever had." Just,
Wow.
as you said, just big up
Awesome.
your partner.
Yes.
I had a gentleman about 23 years ago. I did a wedding for a couple, and the groom's brother, Brother John, he lives in, I think, somewhere in Florida. And when he was toasting his brother, and he was giving him words of encouragement during this toast, and I can't forget, he said to his brother, he said, "I have been married 25 years. He said, there is not a morning that I get up that I don't kiss my wife and tell her, I love you, baby.
Wow.
25 years. He says, not one morning. He said he and his wife has never had a quarrel.
Wow.
25 years. So now he's married about 48 years, because I did make inquiries last week. I had wanted to get him on the program, but he was not one. He will talk to me one way, but he didn't want to come on the program. Now I'm saying that the least of the things that happen now with couples, we get in our feelings. I don't talk to my partner. I don't talk to my husband. You don't talk to me. But at the same time, we're not talking to each other, but we're talking to other people about each other. Red flag. That's a
Yes.
big red flag. Because if you and I are in a relationship, we're in a marriage, we're in some relationship, and we cannot share what is our problem, but we can share that with somebody else who is not in the relationship, who cannot help to mend the relationship, who more than likely don't even like us being together. So how you expect that they're going to say any good thing that's going to keep your relationship going?
That's true.
Food for
Yeah.
thought.
Mm-hmm.
Food for thought. But we've gone 1 hour, 41 minutes, 42 minutes almost without us knowing. And I guess we could still find things to talk for another 1 hour and 42 minutes. Am I correct? So
Yeah, for
Sure.
sure.
I
This
am
is
going
just
to
getting
leave
nice now.
this evening. And we have some other comments. We have Paulette Carr, Smith, that has also joined with her comment, and Akia, and your wife, Pastor. She has been sending her little comments here and there. Viewers out there, we do thank you, because we want you to understand that men still exist today, that
Yeah.
men are still the head of the household, that men
Mhm.
are still holding true and firm to their duties and their responsibility as the man, as the
Yeah.
head, and not the tail. And sometimes, Pastor, we have to have a little tail sometime in our men, And let me tell you why I say this. I say this because the head leads. But if you look at a serpent, no matter how vicious that serpent is, if you chop off the head, the tail is gone, right?
Yes.
So it takes the head working together,
Keep
coming
it
down to
alive.
the tail to keep the fire, the love, the romance burning
Yes.
and going. So we need the tail.
Amen.
We need a
Well
little
said.
tail. Because, sometimes,
Yes.
a lot of things can be averted. A lot of problems can be averted. I was talking to a friend of mine again last week, and she said when she talked to her dad about, things that she might have, with, her husband sharing, because her father is a minister, and she's sharing. She said her dad asked her, daughter of mine, don't you know any good hymn? Don't you have a hymn book? And she said, why you say that, Daddy? She said, Daddy said, be like your mother. Your mother is the best
Mm.
woman I know. She will from the first song in the hymnal to the back instead of having an argument with me. So,
Mm.
ladies, let us learn a few little hymns. Let us
Yes.
learn a few little love songs. Let us learn to hum some songs. Let us learn to zip them out sometimes. And I'm not telling us that we should be a walkover, because I personally am not a walkover, right? And men, please understand that if you say something to your partner and your partner responds to you, it's not necessarily being disrespectful. Because if you ask your partner, your wife, a question, and they in turn ask a question for clarification, it should not be a problem.
Yes.
Anyhow, I'm not counseling, I'm just talking.
Sing
So,
some hymns. Yes, hymns will work.
so, I'm just gonna leave us. I'm just gonna play this little ad. Your complete wedding and event needs from A to Z. We specialize in Jamaica destination weddings, parties, corporate functions and fundraisers, graduations, bridal, baby, or graduation showers. Email us at dreams_to reality, that's the number 2, at outlook.com. Dreams to reality. No dream or budget is too big or small. We are here to realize them all. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we close the program this evening. Love is still alive. There are still good men out there, and there are still good women to be had. Ladies, allow the men to be the hunters. Okay? And I wish you all the very best. Young men, keep up the good work. You are doing an awesome job. The questions I asked, you guys are questions that I personally have privy to the answers. And you were both vetted well before you came on this program, because it's good. I could ask anybody to come on the program, and anybody could come on the program and say something. But is it reality? I want to know that what you speak on this program is reality. I want to know that we are educating, we are informing, and we are inspiring young people, old people, because old people are still finding love, commitment together. So
Amen.
we're leaving you this evening, and we hope that as we leave, you are more inspired than you came. Hi, Elijah, Monica, all the other persons who tuned in and gave your comments. We do greatly appreciate it. Whether you're going to be watching this by replay, we ask that you up and over to our YouTube pages, give us some likes, leave your comments, subscribe, and let us keep the love, the commitment, the respect going day to day. Thank you so much for joining me, Marcia Harris, here at CS Bite and a Mouthful.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.